Hello, everybody. How are you today? And I'm guessing because nobody filled out the chat assignment that the chat's not working. So I'm going to take a guess and put that out there. So this screen right here says housekeeping. You can use the chat and the Q&A, but I think that they disabled the chat on me. So I don't think we can use the chat, but you should be able to use the Q&A to ask me questions. So I'll be monitoring that. So if you have any questions throughout this webinar, please use the Q&A. I know that is working, but we will just move on from me finding out who you are and where you're from. My name is Matt Mormon, and I am from Michigan. So I'm an account manager with TCI, and I'm going to be taking you through this webinar on using TCI and your learning management system. This one today focuses on Canvas. So hopefully, if you are a Canvas user and you're here, you're in the right spot. But if you use Schoology or you use Google Classroom, we actually have webinars on those learning management systems that we've done and we recorded and put up online. You're more than welcome to stay for this one. There will be some overlap, but this is specifically for Canvas. So what we're going to cover today is kind of like, we're going to set you up with a case study to kind of put you in a situation for why you would need to integrate Canvas and TCI together. And then to get you started, I'm going to take you through setting you up how you can link your courses in Canvas to your TCI account so that you can get things like assignments and grades to sync, which is probably something most of you today attending this webinar are interested in. So let's take a look at this case study. So now I'm an 8th grade history teacher. So I know that we may have some elementary teachers, we may have some science teachers here with us today. Everything I'm about to show you works the same whether you teach elementary science and social studies or whether you're a middle school science or social studies teacher. But from the lens that I'm going to be showing you, the lens, we're just going to kind of take my 8th grade class as an example. So I have to teach this lesson on the era of reform. You can see my essential question there. To what extent did the reform movements of the mid-1800s improve lives for Americans? So here is why this is something that could be problematic for teachers if they don't have a good integration to an LMS like Canvas. We were going to step into kind of like my classroom to see what I have to go through to plan and how I can use Canvas to make that easier for me and, of course, easier for my students to access as well. So we have text, right? So like one of the things I need my students to do in this lesson is I have to have them read some informational text. So here I have a little screenshot showing a little bit about Dorothea Dix and some of the reform that went around prison and mental health reform in the 1800s. Along with that reading, I also need my students, there's a handout that they have to complete where they're going to be doing we call this a sensory figure. It's a graphic organizer that allows students to chunk and classify and organize information, both from what they're doing from the reading the expository text and doing the hands-on TCI activity. So they're going to need to do that. And then, of course, obviously, we have everything digitally too. So here's another example of the same assignment, but digitally. So like paperless. So I don't have to necessarily add the handout to, my students. If I don't want to, I can have them go on and digitally do this. Another thing as I'm planning this lesson that I need to take into account is I have some handouts that the students are going to need. So this is an activity where students are going to be in groups of 3, and they are going to be reading excerpts from the Declaration of Sentiments, which was modeled kind of after the Declaration of Independence. It was the Seneca Falls Convention, which was a convention in Seneca Falls, New York, 1850s, I want to say, mid-1800s. I don't have my dates correct totally on that. But they were listing the grievances of women and not having equal rights and equal representation in Congress and things like that. So one of the handouts my students is going to need is this excerpt where they're going to be reading excerpts from this document. And then they're going to have another handout where they kind of see, it's like a fact sheet on women in the United States today. So like, for example, today, women have the right to vote in every state. And back in 2021, 9 of our 50 US governors were women. So just some interesting facts to kind of, let them know. And so what they have to do is they have to look at the excerpt, find out what grievance is being, brought brought out in the Declaration of Sentiments, and then they're going to use that fact sheet to determine how well or not, you know, how much it's been redressed, or maybe it's not been redressed at all since then. Maybe we haven't made any changes. And then they're going to be relating to that. And then, so I have all kinds of stuff here. I mean, I have the text that I need to share with my students. I have the handouts. I have the digital notes, but then there's lesson games that my students can play online. I have multimedia slideshow I might want to share with them. I want to assign things to them. And really, really important is I have my grade book. And my grade book, maybe I'm using like Infinite Campus or, you know, something like that I want to get my grades to sync. And if I can get my grades in Canvas, I can get my grades in my official classroom grade book. But how am I getting my grades in Canvas? That's the question. So not to worry. And of course, one other thing is I have to get all this stuff in Canvas. You know, I work in a district where my teachers or my administrators make us post everything we do with our students in Canvas. So how do I get all of that? So not to worry, TCI has us covered. All of these things that you see in front of me can seamlessly be put into Canvas. And that is what I'm going to teach you how to do and show you how to do today. So I'm just looking at the Q&A. I don't have any questions coming in yet from Q&A, so that's good. So I'm going to keep moving here. So we're going to go live, and I'm just going to kind of go live right now into my, I'm in my Canvas account right now, and you can see that I have an assignment here that my students have to do. And so my student can click on this assignment, and then there's this other link that they click on, and I have it set up so that it opens up in a new window. You can have it set up. I'll show you how you can have it set up in an iframe too, if you'd like it. But my student clicked on that assignment and it automatically opened them up to what I wanted them to read and do. So I need them to read this little introduction. I'm going to have my students, there's the lyrics to this song called Let Us Speak Our Minds. This is kind of like an anticipatory set. This is a preview for this assignment. So they got the lyrics here, and then they have the song. So they can go back here and listen to the song. So hear a little of this real quick.
Men tell us 'tis fit that wives should submit to their husbands submissively, meekly, though whatever they say, their wives should obey.
You get the kind of the idea, the tone of the song. You can see the lyrics there. This is, you know, again, it's kind of a satire song. It's kind of, you know, making light of the fact that women are supposed to be like meek and follow everything their husbands say. It's very sarcastic tone. So for my preview assignment, I've asked my students here, you know, how would you describe the mood of the song? What do you think? Why do you think, excuse me, a woman would write a song like this? And to what extent do you think these complaints mentioned in the song are relevant today? So how would you describe the mood of the song? I mean, it's old sounding. I don't know. It's see how that auto save there too. I'm in Eastern time zone too, so that's why it says 409. Let's see. Whoops, I got a spelling thing here. Piano, right? Why do you think a woman would write a song like this? Probably, I'm going to say, to let everyone know she feels she is being treated unfairly, maybe. Okay. And to what extent do you think the complaints mentioned in the song are still valid today? Somewhat. You know, I'm just putting that as an example. Okay, so I'm done with that. I'm going to turn that in now. Turn that in. Go ahead and click turn that in so my teacher knows that I've done that. And then, of course, I'm just going to easily click the next section, but I did assign the next thing, and then I'm going to have my students read this next section. They can complete this little drop and drag activity, and then they can type some more answers in here. So how did I do that? Well, let's see what happens. Like, let's see if they actually did. So you saw that my student went to their assignments in Canvas. There was a TCI assignment there. They clicked on that link and it opened up in a new window to where I needed to be. Now, I am signed in right now. I'm impersonating one of my students. My student's name is Matt Canvas here. I am going to sign out of Matt Canvas and go into my own teacher account. And you can see here that in my teacher account, I have work that needs to be graded. It says a student turned something in. It was probably Matt Canvas. So I'm going to click on this needs to review here, and I've updated work. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to see that the student has done some updated work. So let's see what they did. And I can see exactly what the student has typed here for this assignment. You know, old piano sounding, let everyone know somewhat. And I'm just going to, that's a nice participation. I'm going to give them 5 out of 5 for doing their preview assignment and be done. Now let's go over to back to my grade book in TCI real quick. And you can see that there is the grade. They have a grade there now, score, you know, for their introduction of this, you know, full big assignment. I've only created one little assignment here. But now let's go check Canvas. So I'm just going to tab back over to Canvas and I'm going to go to grades. And there is the assignment that I created. There's Matt Canvas and there's the 5 right there. Okay. So my grade, as soon as I created that grade in the TCI gradebook, it automatically put it into Canvas. Okay. So this is, you know, all seems great, but you're probably wondering, well, great, Matt, but the reason I came here today is I want to see how you do that. Well, that's what I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you how I did all of that. But I just wanted to kind of lay the groundwork so that you could kind of see how seamlessly it should work if you set it up right. It's very, very easy to set up. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to kind of get out of everything I did real quick. So I just want to reset some of the things that I did. So I'm going to, well, not that, I want to go actions. So I'm just going to disconnect from Canvas really quickly so that I can show you how you are going to set all of this up. Okay. All right. So now I can start over with you guys. Now, everything I'm about to show you, okay, if I go too quickly or you're still not understanding what it is that you're asking, I want to show you where you can find this information too. So when you sign into your TCI account, whether it's elementary, social studies, science, middle school, high school, doesn't matter. You're going to see in the top right-hand corner, there's a support tab right there. And it's got a little question mark icon you can kind of see. And there's a little help button. If you click help, that will take you to a spot where you got to hit continue. You have one more click. It'll take you to what we call our help center. And in this help center, you'll see a lot of other really interesting and helpful articles too. So if there's other things that you're struggling with TCI, definitely check this out. But right here, this one right here, learning management systems. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see the big popular ones like Google Classroom and Schoology and Canvas. But I'm going to click on the TCI Google integration. And I just want to let you know that everything I'm about to do for you guys right now is right here. So if you forget or you're trying to take notes really fast right now while I'm talking, don't worry because it's all captured right here. Every step that I'm about to take you through to set this up for your students is all done right here in our help center. You got GIFs and little videos. We are recording this webinar right now, so this will be up online for you to see too. And if you still need help, you can contact us and get some extra help. But very, very easy. I think that you guys are going to be just fine figuring this out. So just wanted to show you where you found that again. That would be in the question mark next to your name when you sign in TCI under help. All right, so when you first probably log into TCI, this is what my 8th grade program looks like here, 8th grade history. You come here and you see all the content. Well, you're going to start, there's 3 steps that you have to do. Step 1 is you're going to have to give Canvas and TCI, you're going to have to give TCI permission to link to your Canvas account. So you're going to do that by going to settings. If you haven't been to settings before, by the way, check it out, spend some time here. Go through some of the things, student features, some of the things that you can control, some of the access your students have, some default grading scores, being able to take open book tests and not, whether students can see things before you assign them. There's a lot of things you're going to want to check out in there. But the one we're going to focus on right now for this webinar is down here under integrations. I'm going to click integrations right there. And you'll see that if you are a Canvas user, you're going to want to connect to Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and click that connect to Canvas. And I'm going to have to authorize. So I'm giving permission here. So I'm going to go ahead and authorize TCI to talk to Canvas. So I've done that. That's step 1. That's it. Step 1, piece of cake, done. Okay. I'm given permission. So I'm linked my TCI account is linked to Canvas, but I have to link my classes to each one of my Canvas courses. So that's going to be step 2. So step 2, you're going to go over here to, on your purple sidebar, you're going to go over to the place that says My Classes on the purple sidebar right here. And you probably have a lot more classes than this. I just have a dummy mock-up here. So I just have one class, period 1. I only have one student in the class. There's me, the teacher. You might have like first period, second period, third period. So you'll have to do this step each class period that you have. So you'll notice there's a little actions tab over here. So you're going to click that. That's going to bring a drop down, and you'll have things like, managing students in your class, stuff like that. But what you're going to focus on for this is connecting to a Canvas course. So this is step 2. This is the second thing you have to do. Just to recap, the first thing we did is we went to settings and we gave permission under integrations. Now, step 2, I'm going to connect to Canvas course. I have 2 Canvas courses, US History and my TCI default. So I'm going to choose my TCI default. I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to click connect. Okay. Now I have this little icon here, and this is telling me that I have one student in my class, but no students being pulled in from Canvas. So I need to do a third and final step, and that is to auto match my Canvas class students to my TCI students so that they're kind of like matched. So again, now that I have connected to a Canvas course, when I click actions here the second time, I'm going to get a new choice down here. I now have this other choice that wasn't there a minute ago. It was called Manage Students on Canvas. This is the third step. So I'm going to go ahead and click Manage Students on Canvas. And what I like to do is just easiest for me is I click Auto Match and let it do it for it. Because you've already given it permission to talk to Canvas. So it should be able to, behind the scenes, work its magic, figure out who's in there. I'm going to click Next. And match students, and I am successful. So now I have one class period, I have one student in my class, and I have that one student is also pulled in from Canvas. So I'm ready to go. And now I can start to slow down and show you how I did some of those things that I did when I put the assignment in there. And we'll practice putting some assignments in. And we'll do one more thing with the grades again to get the grades to sync again, and we'll throw some handouts in there too for you. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, looking good. You guys are a good group. Not asking too many questions right now. Must be doing a good job today. I am going to go back to my content page now. So I've got everything set up with Canvas. So I'm just going to operate like I'm a normal teacher, right? So let's say I'm doing America before and after colonialization. This is a unit. So we're gonna look at a different unit than the one I was just in. So I might be doing this lesson on I don't know, life in the colonies. Let's say lesson 6, life in the colonies. So I go down into this lesson, and I have my slideshow that I'll use when I project like multimedia presentation for my students. I'll have this in here. I'll be projecting this and going through, but I want to make it so that my students know what they're going to do in their preview assignment. That they're going to have to go to this preview assignment. I want them to read the introduction. I want them to look at this primary source, and I want them to complete this assignment. So what I'll do for that is I'm going to go to my assignments page in TCI. And this is another assignment that I have for something else, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new assignment. When you create a new assignment, it's like a what, a who, and a when. So the what is so I was in lesson 6, right? Life in the colonies. And then what am I assigning? So I'm going to assign, I just want to assign the introduction for right now. Just going to assign, I could assign everything, or I could assign more than one thing, as you can see, but I'm just going to do the introduction for right now. All my classes, sure. Give it a due date. I could have optional information here if I want to, but I'm just going to click assign. Now, that assignment is now live. If a student comes to TCI directly, they'll see that they have a new assignment to do. But you see this little Canvas icon now right over here. That little icon with that green check mark, that's letting me know that that's probably successfully pushed to my Canvas class. Let's take a look. I have a tab over here for my Canvas. I was in grades, so I'll go back to courses. I'll go back to TCI default, and we should see that new assignment there. And there it is, Life in the Colonies. It's there. Now, the only thing that's different is I haven't published it yet. I can publish it for my students in just a minute, but I might want to add some things to it. So before I publish it, let's just take a look at a couple of different things here. Going back over here to TCI, if I go to the materials for that lesson that I was just teaching, there's some things that they need. Like in this lesson, they're going to be dealing with some primary sources called placards. So here are my placards. Like they're going to be, these are station materials that the students are going to actually see when they get up and move around the classroom and go to these different stations. But maybe a kid's going to be absent from school that day. So maybe I want to, make this live for him to have. So one thing is I could always download this and then upload it to Canvas. But because this is an actual unique URL up here, I can actually copy that unique URL, copy that. And then when I go back into Canvas, I'm going to edit that assignment that I created. And I'm going to add some different, I'm going to click on more options here. I'm going to go to more options. And from here, I should be able to insert some additional information. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to insert a link. And there's the link I'm going to put in. And I'm going to say lesson 6 placards. Okay, and I'll hit done there. Okay, so now when I publish this, the students not only will have the reading that they have to do assigned to them, but they'll also have, and I could change this. It says it automatically populates this text with notes. That's just because that's how it comes in with TCI. If I want to be more specific, I could say lesson 6 intro text with notes or something like that. It's, fine to change that if you need to tweak it. In fact, it's saying it's worth 50 points here, but I actually made this a 10-point assignment on TCI. So I can make a link up if I want to. So I got that done and I'm going to hit save and it's there. It's there in the assignment. So if I go into the assignments, ready to go, I'm going to publish that and students should be able to click on that and do it. So let's now take a look at if everything I set up works for the student. So I'm going to go back and impersonate a student again. Get out of this. Let me get out of that. I'm going to go to this little spot here in TCI called the dashboard. And I'm going to impersonate one of my students. I'm going to sign back in as Matt Canvas again. And I just want to see by signing in as Matt Canvas if this opens up. So I had to be in there first. Your students will probably sign into TCI right here through this Teach TCI button that will probably be put into Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. Here I have my placards. So I can open up and get to my placards just like I wanted. So that's very easy. And then I can click on this link and it will open up in a new window. And it takes me right to that page that I was supposed to read in TCI. And then there's the assignment that I'm supposed to do. And I can put some random things in here. I'm just putting random numbers in and I'm going to click turn in and I'm done with that assignment. It's done. So now if I go back and return to the teacher account, once again, just like before, I should be able to go in and grade that and that grade should sync because I did all of that stuff that I showed you at the beginning where I was able to set it all up. So again, I have student did something here. Oops, I'm going to grade. I have it set by grade by lesson. So let me go back. I want to grade by section, not by lesson. It's going to be easier for me to grade it that way. Okay, there was those numbers and I'm like, okay, cool. Nice job. Oh, I guess it's a 5-point assignment, but either way, I could change it to 10. Doesn't matter. 5 points out of 5, automatically saved. Let's go back to Canvas. This is my teacher account here. Let's go to grades, see if it came over. Oh, there's grades. And voila, there is my next assignment. So you saw the one I did earlier. Here's the second assignment, Life in the Colonies, and I gave him 5 points for that. And there's the points. And so it just kind of keeps a running total of that. So yeah, that's how that works. Now, there's a couple other things that you can do. You can have it set up so that, and you guys probably know this as well, but if I go into my courses here and go into TCI default, there are ways that students can sign in. Like you could go here and sign in and have everything open up in an A-frame like this. So that's another option. is that you're basically signed into Canvas, but being you're signed into TCI obviously, but you're in Canvas. My only beef with doing it this way is that the iframe in Canvas, which is great, you might want that to stay there, that kind of surrounds the TCI application, it just makes the TCI part a lot smaller. So I like mine to open up in a new window, but it's total preference on you and what you and your students want. But when you go into your assignments, if I go into assignments again, you should be able to go in and you can edit, and then under more options, I believe you can, there's like a check like load this as a new tab, right? So that's how you can decide if like they're going to open it up the assignment within Canvas or if it's going to open up in a new tab. And I prefer to open it up in a new tab personally, because then they have the full screen, but that's up to you. So again, just to go, I'm going to go back to TCI real quick here, just to kind of reinforce what I showed you very quickly, just as a recap. Step one is going to that settings and clicking on integrations and connecting your account. That's the first thing that you do. And then you go to my classes for number 2 and you connect to your Canvas course. And then step 3, you click actions again and you click that auto match to those students. So you're going to go in and you're going to auto match that. So it pulls in your students and you're good to go. And then everything you do. But one of the questions that comes up a lot is, you do have to create the assignment in TCI. You can't create the assignment in Canvas and have it then post in TCI. You start in TCI as a teacher in our application. You're on your program, you're assigning the assignment, and then it's linking over to Canvas. And then for the grade syncing, most of you probably know this, but once you get the grades in Canvas, like we have the grades in Canvas, you now can sync your Canvas grades to most of your student information systems or your grade books, Infinite Canvas, Power School, those kinds of things. And if you ever need help or forget how to do what I just showed you, just remember, head over here to the Help Center, the little question mark support, click Help. You're going to be taken out of your TCI, but you're still logged in. So you just hit continue. That gets you to the Help Center, and then Learning Management Systems. Click on Canvas, and everything I just showed you is all right here in these steps. So I'm looking at the Q&A, and I don't have any Q&A, so I'm just going to leave this open for a minute just to see if anybody oh, there's a question that just came in. We had a question came in. If we move an assignment from the TCI assignments group in Canvas to another group, will it still sync? Steve, I believe so, but I unfortunately don't have enough information on that, but I know that you guys group things differently, but you should be able to move your assignments into different groups into the way you like it. It basically, when you create a TCI assignment in Canvas, it creates a new group for you. It creates a TCI group. So you should be able to do that. But if you have any troubles, with that, what I want you to do is I want you to come back to this section and, you can look at this, but if you don't find what you're looking for, go ahead and click the help button again. And then right under that, there's a feedback tool, but that gets you to a quick link to our support team, info@teachtci.com. And that would be a great question. I feel bad. My knowledge of it you've asked it a little bit more sophisticated question than what I'm used to. So I don't want to steer you in the wrong place, but I believe that is something that you can do. So excellent question. Yes. And then I got another question coming in. Oh, this one I do know. Can a teacher grade Canvas through SpeedGrader instead of TCI? That's an excellent question. The answer is no, not at this time. You have to grade everything in through TCI. You can't use your SpeedGrader. You got to go in through TCI to do it. Now, this is our first attempt at doing a integration to Canvas this year. So that is something, possibly a future software patch update or something, I don't know. But right now the grading has to be done through TCI, and then it will sync. You can't grade anything that you do in TCI through Canvas. But if SpeedGrader, because you're not the first person to ask me that, is something that you are interested in, what I suggest that you also do is go to that question mark again that I just showed you. This is the third time I'm showing the question mark. And this time click feedback. And instead of going info, tell us your idea right here. What would you like to tell us? And we want to collect as much information from teachers that are like interested in the whole speed grader thing. We want to know more about that. And then that way we can determine if that's like a future rollout of a software update or something that we can do on our end. I don't know if it is because I don't work in that department, but that's what they like. They like to collect that information. So great, great answer to that question, or great question, I mean. All right, so next question, we got a lot of questions coming in here, so I'm just going to kind of read through these. I'm going to read the questions out loud because I think that everybody else on the webinar would benefit from hearing the answers to these questions. So let's see. If you adjust a grade on TCI, will automatically adjust it in Canvas? Yes, so it does in the Canvas gradebook. So that was one thing that I was modeling a minute ago when I was in my Canvas. When I went to my assignments here, that assignment that I had was worth 5 points, but it was listed here in as 10 points. But then as soon as it sunk the grade, it automatically changed the grades in Canvas. So originally at one point, this was a 50 points. When I first created it, it was just by default, it was 50 points. But as soon as I went in and graded it with TCI, because TCI said it was 5 points, it automatically switched that in here to 5 points, but you can always switch it as well. So excellent question there. And let's see another question. Also, do comments sync between the programs? So I don't know about the side that anything about comments on. Nothing you do and comment on Canvas will go to TCI. But if you add comments, like if you're in a class right here, so let's go back to my classes here, and I'm going to go back to my grade book. So let's say that, here's Matt Canvas, and I'm going to go back in and I'm going to look at his assignment again, and I want to give a comment. So I'm going to go in here, and here's a comment. Like I can add a comment, right? I can add, feedback or something, right? And I can even give like a little stamp, like, nice job. So that stays there. So when the students log in, if they click in that link again and come back to TCI, they're going to see that comment that you wrote. But it doesn't put the comment onto Canvas, but the students can still see the comment when they click on that link to go onto the TCI app. They see that comment that way. All right. So yeah, that was like basically the same question about comments. Two people. So I got another teacher, another teacher. So there's 2 of you actually on the webinar today that have basically the same question. So I will log back in as a student just to show you what they would see for this. I can add comments. So let me go to my dashboard real quick, and I gotta go to the dashboard. There, I clicked the wrong thing. Sign in as Matt Canvas. Okay, so here's Matt Canvas, right? And he's got his assignments. So you would have been able to go this way. So I could go to Life in the Colonies. Student could click back on that again in Canvas. It would take them here, but this time they can go, when they click on it, they see my comment and my sticker. They see it like this. So, they're in Canvas. They don't see it there, right? They don't see any comments showing up on here, but all they have to do is just go back into the assignment like this, and from there it takes them to that, and they can see my comments that I wrote right there. So there you go on that. Answered that one. Any other questions that you guys have? Those were good questions. Any others? I'll give it a couple minutes, a second here to think or to type. And again, we just removed the beta label off of Canvas. So, but it's still fairly new. So once again, I do want to stress that if you have ideas or things that you think that we should be considering, definitely throw that in the feedback tool right up here. We want to hear from you. So please use that. It's a great way. A suggestion for involving parents. They have a login to TCI to view feedback. So they don't have a login. They would just need to log in like you just need to give them their student login. However your students log in, you'd have to give them access to that. So there's no like way that parents can like get in. Like, I mean, I don't know if does Canvas allow parents? Can somebody put in the Q&A, does Canvas allow parents to log into Canvas? Like if the parents have the login for TCI, then they can log into TCI and they can click on like view assignments here and see how the student is doing, or they can view their grades and see how the student is doing there. But if they can log into Canvas, then they could also see the student grades and progress of how the students are doing that way too. But that's what you would have to do with parents. Any other questions? All right. Well, I am going to just remind you guys real quick as we get ready to sign off here. If you have any follow-up questions or any other questions at all, the best email address to use for anything that's going wrong, any software problems, any help that you need, any questions that you have that I wasn't able to answer or you didn't get a chance to ask me, info@teachtci.com is your place to go for that. That is the general inbox to our support team. We get those emails and then we determine, which department needs to handle that question. So if you have a question about software team, if you have a question about content team, and so forth, that's how that will be addressed, and they will get back to you as quickly as possible and help you. So I want to thank everybody that joined us this afternoon for this webinar. This is being recorded, so we will have this up live on our webinar library. And you also know that you can always find our webinar library by going to support on your purple side tab and getting started with PD. And from there, you can find our on-demand webinar library. We'll have this and other webinars hosted. So thank you very much. I hope everybody has a great evening, and let us know how we can help.